All right, so finding substrings. First question, obviously, is, well, what is a substring? And I'm glad you asked. A substring is a character or a sequence of characters contained within a string. So here's an example. Let's take the string ActionScript. ActionScript contains many substrings. Two examples of substrings contained within ActionScript are act and ions. In order to find a substring within a string value in ActionScript, we use the index of or last index of methods of the string class. Both of these methods retrieve the index of the first character of the substring. Each character within a string is assigned an index starting with 0. In the example of ActionScript, A has an index of 0, C has an index of 1, T has an index of 2, etc. So let's go ahead and switch over to Flash, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some code examples. So I'm opening the Actions panel, and I'm going to declare a variable that I'll call sTitle, and I'm going to assign to that a new string instance, and I'll wrap the value of ADVACTSCRT2-4. And then I'm going to declare a second variable that I'll call nIndex, which will be a number, and I'll assign to this the value that's returned by sTitle.indexOf, and then I'm going to search for the substring act. So this is going to tell Flash to search my string advanced ActionScript and find the index of the substring act. I'm going to use a trace statement then just to go ahead and display the value of nIndex in the output panel so we can see the result. So I'm going to test this movie, and I can see that the index of act contained within advanced ActionScript is 9. What if I change this from act to script? I'm going to test the movie again, and this time I get an output value of 15. That's because script is a substring that's contained starting at index 15. Now let's go ahead and see what happens if I try to search for a substring that doesn't exist within my string value. So I'm going to use the character B. Obviously, the letter B is not used anywhere in advanced ActionScript. So if I test the movie, then I get a value of -1. That's because anytime that Flash is unable to locate the substring using index of or last index of, the methods return a value of -1. Okay, let's take a look at another example here. If I search for the substring I, well, which I is it going to return? You can see that I have two I's in advanced ActionScript. One is in action and the other is in script. So if I test the movie, then I get a value of 12. 12 is the index of the first I. If I want to get the index of the second I have several options. One option would be to use the last index of method. So if I change my method from index of to last index of, then Flash starts the search from the end of the string rather than from the beginning of the string. So the first I that it will encounter will be the I in script. Let's go ahead and test this, and let's see what the index is. The index of the I in script is 18. Obviously, that's a different I because the index previously was 12. But there's another option that's available to us. Let's see what happens if I change my string value from advanced ActionScript to advanced ActionScript is fun. Now I have 3 I's in my string value. So if I search for the last index of I, then I'm no longer going to get a value of 18 because it's going to first encounter the I in is rather than the I in script. So if I test the movie, I'm going to get a value of 22. Now, if I change my method from last index of back to index of and test the movie, it's going to start searching from the beginning again, and it should return the index of the I in action. And of course it does. It returns the value of 12. So how do I get the index of the I in script now that I have more than just 2 I's? Well, the way that I can do that is by specifying a second optional parameter for the index of or the last index of methods. So if I place my cursor inside of the index of method call operator and bring up the code hints, then I can see that the second optional parameter is described as the from index. So by default, Flash starts searching from either the beginning, in the case of index of, or the end, in the case of last index of. But I can also specify a particular index from which I want Flash to start searching. So I already know that the index of the first I is 12. So what if I start searching from index 13? Then Flash is going to return to me a value of 18. That's because Flash only starts searching at index 13, and so it's not going to encounter the I in action before it encounters the I in script. Likewise, I can do the same with last index of. So if I change my method back to last index of, and I omit the second parameter, then I can see that the value that's returned is 22. That's, again, because 22 is the index of the I in is. If I choose, I can then specify that I want it to start searching from index 21. So that way it will bypass the I in is, because it won't start searching for an I until an index that falls before the I in is. And again, just a reminder that last index of searches backwards through the string. So if I test the movie, I'm going to get a value of 18 again. What happens if I want to then search for every instance of a substring contained within a string? Well, I can do that using a while statement. I'm going to go ahead and modify my code so that I'm going to change the method back to index of, and I'm going to remove the second parameter from my index of method call, so that I'm going to simply locate the first instance of the substring I. And then I'm going to add a while statement. I want to continually check for the index of I as long as index of does not return -1. Just to remind you, it returns -1 as soon as Flash can no longer find an instance of the substring. So I want to then test while n index is not equal to -1. Then I want to output the value of n index so that I can see the results. And then, and this is very important, otherwise I'll end up with an infinite while loop, I want to find the next instance of the substring. So I'll do that by assigning to n index the value of stitle.index of, and then my substring, which is I, and then I want to specify the from index, which should be n index plus 1. So this way, Flash is going to search through the string until it encounters the first instance of the substring. Then it's going to search again, starting on the index following the first match, until it encounters the second instance. And then it's going to start searching again, following that, until it finds the third instance. Of course, after that, it's no longer going to find any instances, so index of will return a -1, and the while loop will exit. So if I test this, I should see 3 values output. And those values are 12, 18, and 22, which we've already established are the indices of the I in action, the I in script, and the I in is. So those are the basics of working with the index of and the last index of methods of the string class.